They say cats have 9 lives, but what about dogs? One famous dog has proved that he has at least 3. This black shepherd mix was turned into a shelter after being hit by a car. His owner was moving and decided to leave the dog behind. After a week went by and no one adopted him, he was ordered to be euthanized. But when the vet who administered the shot came back to check his heart rate, the dog was still moving, so he gave him a second injection. The next day, a volunteer found the dog outside alive. He was a little wobbly, but eating breakfast and walking around the yard. Now the dog is living in a foster home where he's been given the name Lazarus. How did this happen? And did this dog really come back from the dead?
We have joining us via Polycom Sonia King, Executive Director of 2x2 Rescue, and Lazarus, who just refuses to leave this earth. How is Lazarus doing?
He's doing fabulous, fabulous. And in January, we think that he'll be finished with his heartworm treatment that he'll have to go through, and he'll be ready for adoption then.
And you've had people from all 50 states offer to adopt him, right?
I got an email last week. A lady in New York offered to send her plane down for Lazarus.
Wow.
That was Lazarus. I would take that.
Sign me up. Sonia, thank you and Lazarus for joining us.
And Courtney, I mean, I've always had dogs, and I had to make the decision with a past dog to euthanize him at the end of his life, and it was absolutely one of the hardest and most heartbreaking experiences I've ever seen. But talk a little bit about the ingredients in the injection, because it is a very humane way. And my veterinarian said it was the ultimate display of love, that I knew when to put my dog out of his pain. But there's a sedative, and then there's potassium chloride, right? Is that still what's used?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This procedure is generally smooth, peaceful, painless, right? And these medications that they're giving for the euthanasia are sedatives. They just happen to be an overdose. So we feel the most humane way to go is in your sleep, right? And so that's why we think it's really important to place an IV, get IV access, give them a sedative, and then give them an overdose so that they gently pass in their sleep. But this scenario seems like there was a disconnect or a little bit change in the procedure. And so what you want to make sure you do is make sure that they're sedate, because sometimes their veins, the medication will make but of the vein.
It sounds like they missed the vein.
This is really uncommon, and certainly could be a mix of human error in there. But Lazarus' story is so inspiring.